centre of the Barolo wine-producing area and in the heart of Alba's Langa Hills is one of Italy's oldest estates. We're in La Mora, in the town of Annunziata. This hill, the Monferletto estate, has been listed on maps and registers since 1340. For almost 600 years and down through 16 generations, the hill originally belonged to the Ferletti family, the area's most historic and important noble house. It is now owned by Giovanni Cordero di Montezemolo and his children Eleanor and Alberto, legitimate and close descendants of the last heir, the Countess Luigia Ferletti.
It was my father Paolo who inherited from his maternal grandmother the Monferletto farmhouse in Annunziata upon her death in 1943. And although young, my father had long shown a strong interest in everything pertaining to running estates and a special passion for tending vineyards and for carrying out winemaking experiments. In the post-war years, encouraged by his strong penchant for research and innovation, he devoted himself to selecting and studying the finest Nebbiolo plants to uphold the maximum expression of the terroir. This was thanks also to Turin's University of Winemaking and Enology, which collaborated with my father already at the time. In the 1960s and 70s, research and experimentation led to a long phase of restructuring the oldest and most damaged vineyards with clones that, although less productive, were quite expressive and high quality. Moreover, land reclamation efforts, underground works, the installation of drainage, and the introduction of more modern farming systems for a better ripening of the fruit were highly important, innovative steps forward towards quality. Newcomers to the winery, such as the introduction of steel, temperature control, and the adoption of maceration and fermentation techniques decidedly quicker than was customary at the time, all demonstrated the strong spirit of revolution that, as early as the 1970s, made my father an esteemed, respected innovator.
The Monferletto estate now covers about 28 hectares around the central body, which includes the historic farmhouse and the new winery, built right in the middle of the farm in the late 1970s to optimise logistics and improve the farm's quality control. Starting in the 1990s, numerous renovation works were done to restore the historical building's age-old splendour, and new constructions were completed in harmony with the architectural line typical of the traditions of the Langa area. In an area like Barolo, where land is so highly portioned out, where individually owned plots are rare and quite small in area, the Monferletto holding is one of the few exceptions. It is a single vineyard unit, which brings considerable advantages in running the estate.
The area's varieties, typical for producing DOC in DOCG wines, have always been raised, with special attention, of course, to the noblest grape, the Nebbiolo, for producing Barolo wine. Similar importance is also held by Piedmont's more classic varieties, Dolcetto and Barbera. We also have two white grape varieties, Arnais, a local variety typical of the Alba area, and the Chardonnay that is the farm's only international variety. Every hill slope is distinct in its soil's chemical and structural composition and in its microclimate. This is why, depending on its characteristics, Each portion of the vineyard is farmed with the variety most suited for that specific plot. Slopes with southern exposure are planted with Nebbiolo, with Barbera approaching on eastern and western sides. And the gentler slopes and cooler temperatures on the slopes facing north, northeast and northwest are perfect for more precocious varieties like Dolcetto and the whites. Being positioned in the centre of the landholding and having the vineyards in a single body brings great benefits, economically and in terms of quality. The time wasted in moving around between vineyards spread throughout the area is reduced to zero, which allows us to best exploit the time available for working in the vineyard, with lower logistical costs and highly effective quality performance over the entire area. It should also be mentioned that this allows us to work more and more frequently in the vineyard, using less invasive techniques and abolishing the use of synthetic substances to control pest infestation and grape diseases. No synthetic weed killers, fungicides or even chemical fertilizers are used. Instead, we exploit the organic output from a stable run under co-ownership with other family members just a short distance away to create, right on site, enough manure to meet our yearly fertilizing requirements.
Supporting Monfalletto's production, the estate also has a prized vineyard plot inside one of the Barolo's area's most prestigious crews, Villero.
We're in Castiglione Falletto, and in front of me is the vineyard where Barolo Enrico VI is produced. A short distance away, we can see the main farm in Annunziata La Mura. This vineyard, covering about 2.5 hectares towards the south, was purchased by my grandfather Paolo in 1959, so his production could include another prestigious Barolo vineyard. It is an old vineyard with plants up to 70 years of age. The clay in the soil has a complicated composition, more calcareous and iron-rich, which makes for a Barolo usually more structured and complex than that from Annunziata. The wine label bears the name Enrico VI, because my grandfather Paolo purchased this vineyard during the very same days that Enrico, his sixth and last child, was born. The wine has commemorated the event since that time, bearing the name Enrico VI.
The production is complete with 5 more rented hectares, partially in Roero and partially just a stone's throw from Monfalletto, for a total of 35 hectares, planted with grapes suitable for producing local DOC and DOCG wines.
The grape processing techniques are quite simple and aimed at properly extracting and conserving the varietal local expressiveness of each individual portion of vineyard. That's why all the plots are harvested, vintaged and maintained separately until the moment of assembly, when experience and comparison will allow us to make the right mix from the various plots. Particularly interesting is the selection and use of woods to refine the Barolo and Barbera. Our winery employs oak barrels from France and Slavonia, their capacities varying according to the needs and characteristics of the wine they're to hold. Long and constant collaboration work with our suppliers allows us to improve and conserve a productive identity essential for guaranteeing quality to our customers.
Barolo Monfolletto has always been the company's flagship label. Created by blending the grapes from all the vineyard portions surrounding the farmhouse, it is known for its particularly delicate tones. Typical are hints of rose, violet and cherry, with soft sweet tannins right from the first years of aging. Barolo Bricco Gattera, originating from grapes grown at the highest peak of the hill and conserving the Monfolletto stamp, is more concentrated and structured. Barolo Enrico VI stands apart for its bold, elegant character, with hints of ripe fruit and marked balsamicity. Lastly, the newest arrival, Barolo Riserva Goretti, embodies the entire Cordero di Montezemolo winemaking spirit: intense, flowery, bold-flavoured and superior class.
È per noi un prodotto assai particolare.
This is a really special product for us. My grandfather, Paolo, produced special bottles to be set aside for true Barolo lovers, so he could enjoy them with the wine's true message and emotions. Over time, this tradition was lost, and we decided to revive it with the 1998 vintage. Since then, a highly selected portion of the finest grapes from the Goret vineyard at the feet of the cedar in the very centre of Monfolletto is harvested to produce about 7 barriques. Made only in exceptional vintages, the wine is available starting from the 9th year and after at least 6 years of slow bottle aging. And so, not to betray the age-old family tradition, sale is reserved for visitors only, so they can re-experience the emotions and memories of their time in the area, as they enjoy this bottle even kilometres away and years down the road. Moreover, the Magnum format and the 1,000 bottle limit make it an even more unique and precious heritage for us and for those who appreciate our products.
After more than 6 centuries and 19 generations, the Monfolletto estate continues to transmit to its descendants a strong spirit of belonging. The passion and commitment shown by those who have worked at the winery, now and in the past, have brought success and achievements recognised around the world. A story that's already been written and another yet to be told.